Point conversion that could determine the winner.
Johnson throws, dropped!
What a game between Badger and Wanakee. Wanakee late touchdown and the chance to get two to win. The pass dropped and Badger walks away from Camp Randall hoisting the gold ball for the first time in school history. Welcome back. Before we dive into the Division I bracket, we want to share a special story out of Milwaukee. Many of you know Marquette claimed the Division I title last year, but you might not know they were playing for a very special reason. Here's Dario Melendez.
He was just a great man.
This is just paying him respect.
He's one of the greatest human beings I've ever known in my life.
Jeff Boley was a larger-than-life figure roaming the sidelines of Marquette University High School football games. A standout safety at the University of Central Florida in the mid-'80s.
You're number 18, getting ready to tackle a player.
And according to his players, an outstanding defensive backs coach for the Hilltoppers since 2017.
He was dedicated, and that dedication passed through all of us.
He was able to get to the root of what was going to get these guys to play their best.
In December of 2022, after months of back pain, Jeff's wife, Connie, convinced the then 59-year-old to see a doctor.
I said, I'm sure you just pulled a muscle. Just have him check. Maybe you just slipped a disc or something. And so they did an MRI, and the rest of it found a grapefruit-sized tumor pressing on the back of his liver-kidney area, but pressing back there that was causing all the back pain. And on December 22nd, they told us that it was stage 4 cholangiocarcinoma, which was bile duct cancer.
According to the Mayo Clinic, bile duct cancer forms in the slender tubes that carries digestive fluid from your liver to your gallbladder and small intestine. The 5-year survival rate is less than 25%.
What was your reaction to that news?
Like, just couldn't breathe. Literally couldn't breathe.
Over the next few months, Coach Boley underwent multiple surgeries and chemotherapy to combat the cancer. But with a chemo drug shortage, his chances of beating cancer began to diminish. So he turned his attention to a battle he believed he could win.
His goal literally was to coach.
He would only be able to come out once or twice a week, and he would come out, and sometimes it would be with his walker just coming across.
He could barely stand for 10 minutes if he could, and it was really hard to see that and see somebody deteriorate right in front of your eyes. It definitely made us fight for something.
And fight they did, while their coach was fighting to prolong his life, fighting to be around long enough to see his team do something special. The Hilltoppers put together a special season in 2023, going 7-2, earning a 2 seed, and making it all the way to the Division I state title game.
One of the things that I said to the boys, before the game, was I wanted them to close their eyes, and I wanted them to think of somebody special in their life who they wanted to play the game for. And I know for a good percentage of our team, that person was Jeff Boley.
You know, I was actually pushing him, sadly, in a wheelchair. We got from underground there at Randall and came out on the field, and it was beautiful, and I'm like, Jeff, this is so cool. And he was like, this is amazing. And both of us got pretty emotional. So, yeah.
I remember we look on the screen, we see Coach Boley and his family, and we're like, we cannot lose.
The Hilltoppers would go on to defeat unbeaten Franklin 27-10, claiming Marquette's first football state title since 2009.
Blown away. He couldn't believe it. So happy. He was grinning from ear to ear, and his poor little thin face, he just looked so different and so gaunt, and he just was smiling like never. Yeah, it was really cool. Afterwards, they were going to order T-shirts and rings and all of that. And I said, Jeff, should we order a T-shirt? And Jeff said, I'm not going to be here to wear it.
On December 29th, just over a month after the Hilltoppers state championship game victory, Jeff Boley passed away in his Bayview home. He was 60 years old.
I think his ending time at least was quiet and nice. He definitely didn't want to go, and he said it multiple times he didn't want to. But Jeff passed away.
Jeff's funeral service was held on January 13th at Immaculate Conception Church in Milwaukee. It was attended by friends, family, and of course, his football family.
I'm standing in the back of the church, and all of a sudden I see 2 school buses pull up, and I see these football players get off. And it was like over 80-some football players, young, gorgeous boys, just all lined up and came into church single file. The whole church, there was not a dry eye in the house. I saw them supporting each other, and they were also so affectionate and knowing, what I was going through, besides what they were all going through, losing someone, that was a big part of their life.
And though Jeff Boley may not be on Marquette's sideline this season, his mark will be with the Hilltoppers every game.
Putting coach on my helmet is just really important to me.
He was a great coach. He was a great role model. He really brought the best out of me.
Our thanks to Dario Melendez for that story. Just an incredible story. I'm sure we're going to hear from Marquette this year as well. All right, time to dive into Division I. Starting in Section 1, Waunakee gets the top seed. They'll host Wausau West. Middleton will welcome in Chippewa Falls for the 4-5 game. Madison Memorial, they're your 3 seed. They get Stevens Point, or Spash, if you know that. And the 2 seed goes to Hudson. They'll host DC Everest.
Flipping over to Section 2, the defending champs Marquette, as we just saw, claiming the top seed again this season. They'll host Milwaukee Marshall Co-op. De Pere, your 4 seed, they'll get 5th seeded Milwaukee King. The 3 seed going to Milwaukee Reagan. They'll host Sheboygan North. Bayport earning the 2 seed here. They'll play host to Milwaukee Bradley Tech, Milwaukee Arts.
In Section 3, Southeast champion Franklin, they're your top seed. They get Fond du Lac. Muskego and Oak Creek face off in the 4-5 matchup. Nina's your 3 seed. They'll host Milwaukee, Hamilton, Audubon Technology, and Kimberly nabs the 2 seed. They'll host Appleton North. Papermakers end the year with just that 1 loss. What do you make of their team and their chances to make a run, Travis?
Well, you talk about programs in the state of Wisconsin, and it doesn't get much better than Kimberly. It's been a sustained run of success over multiple coaches, which is incredibly impressive as well. Going back to Steve Jorgensen, Steve Jones, and now Coach Mikalkovich at Kimberly with the Papermakers. Again, it's a program. There's not a standout all-state type offensive skill player on that group right now, but the sum of the parts is certainly outstanding. And a really good team. I mean, they shared the title in the FVA, and looking like one of the better teams in Division I. Tough draw for them, though. They get Franklin as the top seed in that group.
They always talk about culture. That's a program that has the culture built and sustained. Finally now, flipping to Section 4 of Division I, the Big 8 champs of Verona earning our top seed. They'll take on Kenosha Bradford. Arrowhead and Hamilton squaring off in the 4-5 matchup. Racine Case is your 3 seed. They'll host Economillock. And Mukwonago earning the 2 seed. They'll host Janesville Craig. So here's a full look at the Division I bracket. A lot of very good teams here. Travis, you mentioned a few. Verona sticks out, completing a perfect year. What are you looking forward to here in this division?
Well, we got a couple rematches right away in Level 1. You've got Kimberly and Appleton North. They played during the regular season, as well as Muskego and Oak Creek. They played in a non-conference game. How about Oconomowoc being a co-conference champion in the Classic 8, the best league in the state, 8-1, and they get a 6 seed. Wow. It's not going to sit too well with some folks there, but what a turnaround by the Raccoons. Last year they missed the playoffs, haven't been in the playoffs for a couple years, and all the way to a share of that conference title in the Classic 8 this year.
Chip on their shoulder they're coming with, I'd imagine.
And another great mascot. There we go. Well, earlier this week, Carly Murata from our Madison affiliate caught up with the head coach of Verona. We just saw get a 1 seed there. Here's their conversation.
I am pleased to be joined by Verona head coach Andrew Riley. Coach, congratulations on a great regular season. What's been the key to your team's success?
Well, really, I think our guys have come together as one unit. They've worked so hard in the offseason to get themselves ready to be successful this season. And boy, throughout the first 9 weeks of the season, they've been able to show that, come together as one group, and really push each other every day in practice to be the best versions of themselves.
Coach, the last time Verona reached the state championship was in 2008, finishing runner-up. What would you say is the key to getting over the hump in playoffs this time around?
Well, just like we've been doing every week of this season, it's a 1-0 mentality. The biggest game is this game because it's the only game that's on our schedule this week. So taking care of business, being 1-0 each and every day of practice, each and every play. We talk about being exhausted dudes with joy on our faces. If we end every night with being exhausted with joy on our face, it's going to be a good night.
Coach, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck in the postseason.
Thank you, Carly. Appreciate the opportunity.